So here we go. This is number 6 of our Mythic Battles Pantheon unit focus, and we've got Eurytion. So as usual, we'll go through the mythology, we'll have a look at the powers and talents, and then we'll have a general sum up at the end. Now, Eurytion, there's actually about 6 or 7 different Eurytions in Greek mythology. 2 of them were centaurs. The other one, what did he do? He threatened violence at a wedding and Heracles killed him. Now this one, Eurytion, from the game, he was actually invited to a wedding also. A lot of centaurs were invited to that wedding. And Eurytion, after a few wines, now centaurs were known to be animalistic, but a few extra wines brought something out of them that probably they didn't expect. And he tried to carry off the bride. And that set off a battle. It was called the Centaur Omachy. Now, there's a few different Omachys in Greek mythology. We all know and have heard of the Titanomachy. I'm sure a lot of you will have heard of the Gigantomachy. That is the battle between the gods and some giants. And this was the Centaur Omachy. And honestly, it was no great shakes in Greek mythology. There's not a lot known about it. I don't think it was a particularly large battle anyway. But it was named the Centaur Omachy anyway. It got that name. Now, Theseus got involved in that battle. And he actually chopped Eurytion's ears and nose off and threw him out. And I believe Eurytion was also killed at some point in that battle as well. But I'm not sure exactly by who. But that is kind of where he gets his fame from. When we look at his different talents, what have we got? Sorry, we'll look at the powers first. So we've got Taunt. If an enemy is activated in Eurytion's surroundings, Eurytion's owner may choose whether it acts normally or must attack Eurytion. Okay, so if he's in his area and then anyone gets attacked in any of his surroundings, he could choose to take that attack himself. Which is good. You know, it might save a god, or it might be saving a unit that is important to you, so he can take the damage instead. Also, part of that is if this unit is forced to attack Eurytion, it may not use any of its talents or powers. Talents I can understand; it's quite regular in a few of these, but to lose the powers as well, that's quite an important part of the game and your ability. So anywhere within his surroundings, that's quite a lot. That's quite a big cut off, really. If you can't use your powers. He's also got Gorilla. If Eurytion is the target of a retaliation, the effective offense is modified by -2. Now, we haven't actually spoken about offense in these videos, so it's a -2. So that's not a -2 as in you deduct 2 from the dice rolls. It is literally however many dice that unit rolls, you just remove it by 2. After the retaliation has been resolved, Eurytion may immediately walk 1 area. This does not count as an action. So that's very powerful, actually. It doesn't cost an Art of War card, but it's good for... It's good for movement. He doesn't have block, but with this, I'm sure block wouldn't be able to stop that. So, yeah, very, very good. In terms of the rest of it, he's got leader. We've got centaurs in the game as well, so that's good. Close combat as well, very good. And mighty throw is never a bad thing. So if anyone doesn't know what close combat is, basically it is they get +1 offense or an additional dice during any range 0 attacks until the end of their activation. So that basically anyone in his own area, he gets a +1 to his offense, 1 extra dice. And we might as well go for the other one. So mighty throw, if you roll blanks in your first offense, so if you got 3 blanks, you would be able to throw a titan. If you get 2 blanks, you could throw a monster or a god. And if you get just 1 blank, throw a troop or a hero. So that's what that means. Okay, so we'll quickly go through the leader ability as well. So it says the active player takes an activation card from their deck of visible friendly troop units in their surroundings and adds it to their hand. So for example, if he had centaurs next door, he can go and find that activation card and add it to his hand. he can activate that immediately by discarding the activation card and without spending an Art of War card. So it means you can do that extra activation, but it won't cost any Art of War. So it's for anyone that has the leader ability. Sometimes I don't always go troop heavy or anything like that, but if I've got at least one or maybe two leaders in there, I always try and back them up with extra troops because it does really help in the game. Now, in terms of the rest of the stats, so he only gets 5 attacks, 7 defense, range 1, which is good, movement of 2, which is also good, and it seems quite standard, 7 wounds for a hero. So yeah, all fairly kind of average stats there really. However, with the range 1 and movement of 2, it's always a good combination. It allows for extra options. So not only does he have that 2 movement, but via the gorilla power, if anyone attacks, he can move immediately 1 area after that attack. So it is good, you know, and dare I say it, 7 wounds, it doesn't last a great deal of time in this game, but, you know, if he was a subject to attack maybe once or twice, he can really get around that board pretty quickly. So it's good. A good unit, certainly, Eurytion. The stats don't really show it that well, especially with these 5 attacks. But in terms of movement, you know, taking attacks on a -2, being able to draw the attacks that are on friendly units in his surroundings, again at a -2. He's definitely better than he appears to be on paper. So like I say, that's 7 wounds. They're going to last quite a long time when you're at the -2 offense there. But that is Eurytion. So the next video will be Orion, and that will be up in the next 2 or 3 days. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.